I cannot tell you how long I have been sitting in this spot. All I did, I have my sneakers on, and I walked, closed the gate. You know, we have that fenced in gate. Walked here, and my leg goes numb or something, and I trip, and I did the same thing with my ankle. And when I tell you that pain, I was limping to the gate that we have here to like lean on it. Then I hobbled over here in this chair and I just been sitting here. The pain is finally going away, but it has to be at least 20-30 minutes. I can't make that up. Something is really wrong with my ankle. I've explained this before. Many years ago in 2005, I was in a really bad car accident and I had surgery on my ankle. So I've always had issues with my ankle. And sometimes I end up tripping. Sometimes I do walking talks and you'll see me like tripping. And then, you know, it hurts for a little bit. It swells, you know, around my ankle bone, you know, and I'm okay after a day or so. Sometimes even that day. But, about a month and a half ago when I really tripped over that stick with the watermelon, my ankle went really in and I put my weight down and I really messed it up. And it's gotten better. But remember when I hurt my shoulder, my right shoulder? So with all that pain, I wasn't feeling my ankle, but it was still swollen. And it only would hurt if I was going up and down the steps like a few times, if I'm walking a lot, you know. But ever since that day, I'm telling you, and I don't know, like right now my ankle's not really hurting, but again, I haven't walked on it, so it felt like it did when I tripped over that stick. I was not planning on this happening. I wanted to sit down. It's beautiful out, so I was not planning to start the video like this. I have my water bottle. I have absolutely no makeup on. I do have lipstick and a tiny bit of eyebrow pens on. That is it. I do have skincare, but I have no foundation, no concealer, no nothing. And I don't use filters. And I am 48. I'm almost 50. And, you know, I have wrinkles and stuff. And I don't want to hide it that I'm aging. You know, that's why I don't wear filters. So I have my hair just in a little ponytail. This is my hair. I don't have the fake ponytails in because I had planned on raking up the front yard, just doing one side because it's beautiful out. It's like 74, 75 out. Now in the backyard we have a lot of trees, like even over me. So it's shade, but it's like just sunny. It's not humid. It's a little wind breeze. It's beautiful. So I'm like, it's so nice out. Let me just do a little bit of the yard just to be outside. And I was going to see like if my shoulders start hurting a little bit or my ankle, I was going to completely stop because I'm going to show you a picture. Okay. Now this is the yard the front yard that I hurt my shoulder in. Doing all of it. Remember how I had it all clean and everything? If I can find the pictures, I'll put them here as well. And then, what was it? Not even a week ago, the boys cleaned the yard up, the front and the back. And because we just have so many trees, and that one tree that's in the front, the city owns that because the one that put the tree in there. It's so big and it comes all the way in our yard that every few days, that's what it looks like. So you really have to keep up on it, you know, or because I live in the city, they don't wait till they get a phone call. They are constantly going around, you know, the whole city here, and they will fine you if you have like leaves or you didn't cut your grass or whatever the case may be, you know. And plus, I don't want somebody going past my house and thinking, oh, she don't do her yard, you know. But it is. We have so many like. Look, let me just show you. Like even here, these are the leaves. They're you know, they're hard, they're old, they're just dead, and they're falling off the trees because, you know, I live in Jersey, so it's basically fall here, which I love. I love fall. Fall and spring, I love. But I did want to come on here and talk to you guys for a little bit. Oh yeah, and then I'm also going to dye my hair. because I do put some hair dye in my hair. Well, today I put like a little spray in because I do have very, very thin hair. I'm suffering from alopecia and alopecia traction. Now, when I say that, some people think of alopecia where you're like completely bald. You may not be able to tell right now because I use hair fibers and stuff, but I don't have like round bald spots, but my hair is so thin. I mean, look, this is all my hair. This is it. You can see my scalp, you know. So there's different forms of alopecia, and I think they just told me that because they don't know why. It started when I was 18, when I was pregnant, and I really think it's hormonal. I have been tested for my hormones, and the only thing they see is low testosterone. Now, diabetes can also make you have thin hair and stuff, but my endocrinologist is going to test me for that PCOS or whatever it is or something like that, because I've always had issues with my menstrual and things like that. I don't know, but what was my point? Oh, so that's why I really didn't do my hair, because I'm going to dye it. Oh, no, that's what I'm going to tell you. So I have like the white hair coming in, but you can't see it because I put the hair fibers on. But I don't have a lot of white hair. I mean, let's be real, I don't have a lot of hair at all, but I don't have a lot of white hair. But like right here, like I'll have white hair coming out, and as soon as I see the white hair, I'm like, no. And it's so funny because my mother and grandmother were the same way, and I used to be the one that dyed their hair, and they used to, like, I don't know, like I always thought they looked good, but they didn't want any white hair, you know. So I get it. Maybe I'm vain. I don't know what it is. It's like I don't mind getting older, like my face, and like I won't use filters or anything like that, but I just don't want gray hair. Then it would really look thin, you know. But I'm outside. It's beautiful out. I know I have you up close and personal, but because it's a little wind, I want to make sure that you guys hear me. I don't have my microphone out. I cannot believe I hurt my ankle. I have a neighbor, like a house down, and she's outside, so I'm like kind of whispering, but I'm not. Oh, but let me tell you, I'm so sad. My neighbor that I've known since I was 14, she was 23 when she moved in. And what is she, 55, something like that now? And she moves. She moved last month, but she came back Labor Day, like the weekend and stuff, just to get the rest of her stuff out. So now, I mean, I said my goodbyes to her, but I won't ever see her again. So I'm so sad. Like, I've known her over 32, 33 years. What was I, 14 or 15? I'm 48 now. So it's like family. So I gave her a hug, and, you know, then I like went in the house and cried. I mean, I'm very happy for her. It's not that. Like, I'm glad. You know, she's with her kids and her grandkids and all that. You know, she's single. She lives by herself. And I get it. Like, I would want to live with my kids and my grandkids too. She's got a good job offer. So I get it. But as my selfishness, it's like, I'm going to miss her, you know. But I'm happy for her, if that makes sense. Like, I'm glad that she left, you know. So what else has been going on? Tomorrow I have to take Akira, you know, the puppy. Remember I took her last time to the vet and she had that allergic reaction? So I take her back tomorrow at 8 a.m. I always do that. I don't know why I make the appointment so early, because when I'm making it, I'm like, yeah, I want to get in and get out. But then when it's time for the appointment, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? 8 a.m.? That means I got to get up at 6, because, you know, it takes me a minute to wake up. But she goes for her checkup and then to get 2 shots because they didn't want to give her shots. Remember, I thought she was a year old, but she was only, she turned a year old this month, so now she's due for her shot. I think it's 2 shots. You know, since I have, you know, when I hurt my arm and stuff, like, I was down for almost a month. Like, I wasn't filming. You guys know, I think I literally put maybe 2 vlogs up last month. And so I watched a lot of YouTube, because normally I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I mean, I do sometimes. It's not like I don't watch any, but I don't have the time, right? Because if I'm filming and then editing, but then I still have my kids, even though they're adults, but I still cook dinner. I clean. You know, I suffer from anxiety and different things. So like if I'm doing stuff outside, or I'll shampoo the carpets or shampoo the furniture or whatever the case may be, I'm always doing something. And so a lot of times I don't watch YouTube until like, because you know, I'm on the 3rd floor of my bedroom. So I don't, once I'm upstairs for the night, like after my shower, you know, all that type of stuff, then is when I usually watch a little bit of YouTube. But because I wasn't filming, I really start watching more than I usually do. And I was like, the things that I've seen, and you know, sometimes when I talk about this, some of you guys comment like, well, you're just watching the wrong people. Well, what happened is, so between both of my channels, right, you know, I have a beauty/unboxing channel that has over 50,000 subscribers. This one has like, what, 13,000. So between the two channels, I have over 65,000 subscribers, right? And if one of you guys tell me that you have a channel or just starting out or something like that, I subscribe to you guys. You know, I figure you're supporting me, I'm going to support you. Now, I can't subscribe to over 60,000 people. YouTube won't allow that, but I am subscribed to a lot of people. And I try to get to you guys when I can. You guys know if you have channels, you know, here and there, all, like if you do a community post or a video or what have you. But I am subscribed to a lot of people. And it's very weird to me, like what I'm seeing. And so that's why, like, when it's like, well, maybe because I don't watch a lot of people or really get into the drama or anything like that, like I don't know a lot that's going on, but I have seen a lot lately is my point. And what in the, I don't understand it. I have never realized how many grown adults are so judgy, hypocritical. It's crazy. There's like this group of like smaller creators, right? When I say smaller, like they'll have 5,000 or less subscribers, and most of them don't even have 1,000 subscribers, or if they do, whatever, you know, not too much. So that's what I mean when I say smaller creators. And it's like, if they don't like somebody, they do like commentary or drama channels or what have you, or opinion channels, I don't know. But let's say somebody doesn't like me. Well, just using me as an example. And then, you know, you guys that support me leave comments. They'll like screenshot the comments and like put it on their community posts and like tag whoever commented, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what? I don't get it. I'll never understand that. Like, if you don't like somebody, I don't understand. I guess people hate watch. Let me put this down because I know you can hear it. But I don't understand it. If I don't like somebody, I don't watch them. I don't hate anybody. We are all strangers on the internet. I don't know people in real life, right? One person I know, you know, but other than that, I don't know people, so I don't hate anybody. I dislike people. But I don't hate anybody. I don't wish harm on anybody. So I just don't understand it, how people can hate somebody you don't know. If it comes to the point where somebody's talking about you or like, just don't watch them. I don't get it. And I don't understand why a content creator cares so much what a subscriber writes or who they support, and they don't really have a channel. You know? I don't know, just the things I'm seeing, it's terrible. You'll have people that don't like a particular person, and they'll like make a whole video talking about the subscribers, or they'll like make a community post like so and so, like say me, so and so, like Justine at Justine, you blah 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 blah, and they like go off on the creator, and it's like, you realize that you're just helping the person you don't like with engagement. Every time you click on their video, you know, you click on there enough to screenshot. I don't understand it. And it could be that some people maybe, you know, they're going through depression. You know, I always say misery loves company. I think sometimes people, you know, maybe they don't get out of the house. I was like that at one time. Oh my God, when I was so depressed after my mother and grandmother passed away. you know, because they passed away 9 months apart. Oh my God, I didn't want to go out of the house. I hardly got dressed. I stayed in my pajamas. I take a shower and get into another pair of pajamas. I mean, it was terrible. And I watched a lot of YouTube or TV. You know, I like the ID channel. And it's like, so I get it, you know, I understand. But now, because I'm always doing something, I don't watch YouTube a lot. And when I do have the time, I'm definitely not going to watch somebody I don't like. Years ago, when I was like 18, even 15, 16, 17, 18, or around those ages, oh my God, I thought I was all that. You couldn't tell me nothing, okay? I was thin back then. Thin was in. I was 120, 125 pounds maybe soaking wet, okay? I had really pretty hair. I was always getting comments on my hair, like, oh, your hair's so pretty, you know, because it was like wavy, kind of wavy and curly, you know, I can't explain it. I'll show you pictures here. And this is me when my son was, what, 6, 7 months old, so right after having a kid. And that was my hair when, do you remember when you would use, you would take your hair and then twist it and then put it up so it looked like it was like a, I don't know how to explain it. So all of that here is all my real hair. Now look at that compared to this. Like I have none. There were all my natural curls and everything. And oh my God, I would talk about people. I would say, like, especially if somebody was heavyset, or I would say I would never get with somebody that's fat, or blah, 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 or if they had a stomach or anything like that. Oh, yes, I did. I talked about, like, if somebody was on drugs, I'm like, I'm not putting that crackhead in my car. Oh, yes. I was the type, I thought I can get any man. I was just very conceited. Let's keep that 100. I really was. Well, let me just tell you. See, this is what I say with the talk of your tongue, right? It comes back to you because guess what happened? Now I hardly have any hair. All those people I talked about, because I thought my hair was all that, guess what? I don't have no hair, okay? All those people I talked about, guess what? Go back to my beauty channel. Go to the oldest videos. I was 50 pounds more. I was almost 200 pounds. And I'm only 5'3" 3/4. Now, you might say, oh, that's not too heavy. But for me, it was. Okay? Because I'm used to being. Now, I'm 145 right now. Okay? And I still got a stomach, you know. But, or I never had a six-pack, but my stomach was flat. So I just thought, you know. And I know I'm very pale. But I tan. I get red first and I tan and I get that brown tan. So many years ago, I just thought I was all that. You couldn't tell me nothing. And it comes back to you. So that's why I always have that saying. Be careful what you say and what you say about people when you talk about people, because you don't know what's going to happen to you. You don't know what's going to happen to your children or their children, your grandkids. You don't know. Many years ago, if you would have said you would have been an alcoholic, well, about right that time I was drinking anyway, but if somebody would have said you would have tried drugs, you would have been on crack, I would have been like, yeah, right, you know, because I was with drug dealers back then, and I would put my nose up to I called them crackheads, and guess what happened? Years later, right? Now, last month made 20 years since I've tried or did any drugs. Now, it took me a couple more months. So, November-ish, around that time, I will be clean from drinking. But, like, no. And that's why I say be careful what you say. You might have it to where I see people talk about people that are doing bad or homeless because they live in a house or they have money, they could pay their bills. I keep saying, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You may go to bed tonight and your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever may not wake up out of bed. They can go to work, get into a car accident, and you may never see them again. Especially if you depend on them financially, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you're the man that works and your husband and your wife doesn't, but she takes care of the kids? What are you going to do then, God forbid something happens to your wife? What are you going to do about a babysitter and all the other stuff, and you work? So that's why I'm saying you never know. Look what happened with COVID. Who would have ever thought years ago we would have said we would have been in a pandemic? How many people lost their jobs? And I'm talking about doctors and nurses, good, because they didn't want to get the COVID shot. Now it's not required, but when it first happened, you were required. Look at all these people. Look at all these, like, so many people were struggling. So that's why I'm saying you never know what can happen. You never know. So be careful what you say about people. You know, you pray for them. If there's somebody that you don't like, you still pray for them. You know, it cracks me up when I see certain people, if they're going through things, I say, guys, pray, can you pray for my kids or pray for me or whatever? But yet you don't pray for people or people that you don't like, your enemies. I see so many people, we're not just talking about YouTube, where they don't like to forgive. What's going to happen? Let's say if you believe in God, because I know a lot of people, I know some people that watch me don't believe in God, but I believe in God. What happens if it's your time to go and you go to God and God says, I don't know you. Child, I never had a relationship with you. Let's just say it's true because you don't read your Bible. You're too busy when you have time. You're online watching people, judging people, making videos on people, talking about people's kids, looking up people's addresses to find out where they're at and all that type of stuff. When you could be reading your Bible, going to church, watching church, or what have you. What are you going to do? Let's just say that scenario is true. What are you going to say? Oh, I'm sorry, God, I was too busy judging people. What? You know, and that's the best. And listen, I am not perfect. Trust and believe, I am not perfect. But I'm not going to judge people. And I'm not going to say I don't get mad, because you guys know I do. There's times I make videos and I'm mad, you know. See, I come from, I always say, my mother and everything, she was born and raised in West Atlantic City. My grandmother, all that from New York and all this other stuff. And I raised my kids in the projects and who I hung out with and stuff. Anybody can look me up or do a fora. Now, it's been a long time since I got in trouble. I think my last charge was exactly in 2000. But I got in trouble in the 90s. I mean, I had a lot of fighting charges. A lot of, I had an armed robbery charge. I had gun charges. I had a lot of things. Drive-bys, like, a lot. I was with the guy I told you who was dealing drugs, and if they owed him money, he'd be right there kicking the door, and I'm right behind him, making sure there's no fingerprints, even though we're using gloves, being careful, all this type of stuff. I was bad, and that's not what I'm bragging about. So I come from a world where, like, if somebody says something about you, like, I'm gonna fight. And on YouTube, you can't, right? So, you know how that saying, like, you could bring the girl out the projects, but you can't bring the projects out the girl. It's true. I still have my temper. I've learned to calm it down, you know. But when I get to that point, listen, I'm not perfect. I've always said I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. So I don't want people thinking, oh, she thinks she's, you know, a Miss Perfect. No, I'm not. But just be careful what you say about people. Just be careful when I see people that have beefs and it's been years and they're still like, I hate that person and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, just that's all. You know, I had to learn to forgive. I had to learn to forgive a lot of people. And I'm not talking about anything with YouTube, in my personal life and from years and years ago. And it's hard. Trust me, it's hard. But I have to. And once you forgive and let go, you feel so much better. You really, really do. Oh my God, look how angry I was at my husband, my ex-husband. I mean, I'm still a little angry. But when it first happened, oh my God, every video I was talking about him. I still talk about it a lot because that is my life, you know, and I share my life. But I was angry for a long time, you know. Now, I wish him the best. I wish he'd stop watching my videos. I wish he would stop trying to call me or FaceTime me, okay? I blocked him off my phone, my one phone. I don't want to be friends with him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't care anything about him, but I just wish him health. I wish him happiness. I hope he finds a girl that meets his way of life, and all of that, and just leave me alone. But I didn't always feel like that. You know, I wanted him to get his karma. I wanted, you know, I would pray like, oh, I hope he finds a girl that he's madly in love with and she cheats on him or leaves him from her for her ex, or, you know, you wish that stuff, or, you know, but I don't. I wish him happiness. It took me a while I was so angry at this one YouTuber. You know, he's a man, who was like, would talk about my looks, call me bald-headed, like, talk about she has a mustache, talk about my, but okay, but we'll talk about my children, call my daughter a whore, my kids bastards, say my son's a drug dealer. He said one time my youngest son works at McDonald's. I say, and listen, and McDonald's pays pretty good now. I think they pay like $15 an hour here, so I ain't knocking McDonald's, but it's like, it's not true. He looked up my address and seen my house, but remember, when it was on Google, it was right after the fire before they even fixed it. But it's like, I don't care what my house looks like. It's paid off. It's mine. I own it. But like, I don't understand it. I don't care enough about people to look them up, to find their address, to see where they're at. I don't care. If you have enough time to constantly find out where people are staying when you don't like them, then that means you need to find something to do. Go out and touch some grass. You know, it's just sad. It really, really is. And I'm saying all this because, you know, I'm a talker. Like, I literally unsubscribed from last night and today, at least 40 people, at least. Some of them is because they haven't like put anything out in a long time or what have you, but it's like, you know, you know, sometimes, all right, like, when you see people beefing, it's like, oh, ha, 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 it's entertainment, like reality TV, right? But when they say the same things over and over and over again, well, it's not entertainment. When you start going real life, it's not fun. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, for me, I've been on YouTube, what, 7-8 years on my main channel. I have never, ever had anybody talk about my children, like what happened. That I actually had to try to get a RO on somebody, not because they were talking about me. I don't care. You can make 100, you can make 1,000 videos on me. I don't care about that. But when you are looking at my address, when you are threatening, when you say my street name, but may not say the house number or different things, you're putting my safety at risk and my children's safety at risk. When you dox my daughter's name and lies, I never doxed her daughter. When you find her government name and her last name, because her last name is not the same as mine, that is a dox. I don't care what people say. That is a dox. This person went to prove for some reason they put in their heads that I was like, my kids aren't on YouTube. Like, in other words, my kids have never been on my channel. That is a lie. You guys that have been watching me for a number of years, if I ever said my kids have never been on my channel, you know that would be a lie. Isaiah's been on just a few times, but I've always blurred his face. I think Tyler was on a live stream many years ago when my mother was alive. So one time. And Lexi's been in my videos. But the last time she was been in my videos, well, where you seen her face was in October of last year. So it's almost a year, because we went on that haunted hayride. And then right after her surgery, and I blurred her face. But out of 7-8 years, I can count a handful of times. She did a few unboxings with me, but that's it. What I said was, my kids don't have a channel. In other words, they don't have their own channel. They're not a content creator. They don't even have an account where they can comment. That's what I mean. So they're not public figures, because this person was like, oh, her daughter's born, she's a public figure. No, she's not. That's crazy. And so because of that, because they were trying to prove I was lying, literally looked up my daughter to find her last name. Probably looked me up and then found my daughter, you know. But it was like, why would you even put her last name? What does my kids have anything to do with you not liking me? Because I called you a gross pig? Oh, ho, ho, ho. You know that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt you. So, yes. Now, I didn't get the restraining order, the final one, is because I literally just got out of the hospital. The disc drive or thumbnail, whatever it's called, wasn't working properly. And literally, they told me I only had about 30 seconds to give the judge, because she was walking in, to send the judge the email videos. And they couldn't be over a minute long. And some of them were like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So I'm like going in my app, trying to shorten them. And so I didn't even know what I sent. So the ones that I had the evidence, like I was begging her, I'm like, let me show you, it's on my phone. But she didn't want to hear nothing about it. Now, so it was my fault. It was because he didn't get it because of lack of proof, because I didn't bring the proof. Not because I was wrong or I was lying. I didn't have enough proof. And we went through the VASPA order, which was the first case that she ever did, because they just started in January. We went to court in February, I think, right? You know what I mean? I was the first case. So it wasn't a regular like restraining order. So that's how that was. It was brand new to the judge. She even had to look up. Well, let me look it up and see what applies to the VASPA order. She was doing this literally while we were there waiting. So that's why. And I never went further to it, because in New Jersey, you have 45 days for an appeal. Like most places, you only have 10 days. You had 45 days. I didn't want to appeal it. I could have went and got a lawyer and but no, because that wasn't my point. My point was, leave my kids out of it. Don't dox or don't put my kids' safety at risk, because when you say their government name, people can find them because they're adults. Like, you know how they say, don't dox kids with minors, which is true, you should never. But also, just because they're adult, because when they're an adult, they're easier to find, right? So it's very scary, and I've never had that happen. And I thought, okay, if I get a restraining order, he won't put my safety at risk. But then, like I said, I don't think he's talked about me. I don't even say his name. You guys don't even know who I'm talking about if you don't know. But it's just, it's crazy to me, the hate that somebody had, even like for me to go around like looking up my address, and like, why? Just because I have a post office that says Millville, New Jersey, that doesn't mean at the time I was living in that city. There's a lot of people that go to a different city to get a post office, right? And I do that because, you know, when you have followers that want to send you things, of course I'm not going to give my own address. So I got a P.O. box. I don't even promote my P.O. box, you know, because it's not like I want you guys to send me anything. I'm here because I enjoy talking to you guys, you know. I don't even have memberships on either of my channels. I'm not here. Well, I was going to say to make money. Of course I want to make money. That's how I live. But you know what I'm saying. I'm not doing, it's not about that. It's the connection that we have, you know? Oh my God, did I go on a rant? I promise you, this was not my plan to come online and to do all this. I think I hurt my ankle, which right now it does not hurt. You know, I'm moving it now. But it just put me in a pissy mood. I cannot believe that I hurt my ankle again. So Isaiah's been working overtime. And he went to work, he works now, they changed his hours from 7 to 4 to 6 to 3. And he works in a warehouse. And anyway, whatever's going on, so they've been having overtime. So he leaves the house at 5:30 in the morning. And so he gets home like 3:30, 4, what have you. Well, it was like going on 6:30. He wasn't home yet, but I know they've been doing overtime. Well, anyway, and I'm texting like, hey, what's going on? You know, God forbid he was in a car accident. Anyway, he didn't get home to almost 11 o'clock last night, like 10:30 last night. Right? Oh my God, goodness. And so he goes in, he gets in the shower. He's like, Mom, can you make me some cheeseburgers? I'm like, yeah, how many you want? He goes, 2. Fine. And then he's like, and then can you make some bacon too? I'm like, no, listen, now you're asking a little bit too much, okay? It's almost 11 o'clock at night. You're lucky I even washed the lettuce off and cut lettuce to put on your cheeseburger, okay? Like, you're doing a little too much. But I don't mind. My kids are so good to me. Like, I don't mind, you know? So he got out the shower, ate his, and I did put some fries in the air fryer for him. Some Arby's curly fries. And then he went right to bed. And then today, he works 10 to 7. And then I think tomorrow, then he does the 6 to 3 again. But It's crazy. He's been working a lot of hours. What was my point? Oh, the point was I'm not cooking dinner tonight. I told him, because I didn't know when he was going to be home. Lexi's working. She works to 11. You know, she works 3 to 11. And Tyler, he's out with his, he's going to go out with some friends. So I'm like, I'm not cooking. If you guys are hungry, order pizza. So that's why I'm like, let me do the yard work. Let me go ahead and then I'll come back, dye my hair, of course, get in the shower. And then, like I said, I got to get up at 6 in the morning. Gosh. So busy day, so we'll have another vlog tomorrow, and then I have to drop Akira back off home, and then I have some ripping and running to do. But all right, so I'm gonna get off of here so I can, if my ankle's not hurting, do a little bit of the yard work. And that's everything. I am so sorry about this negative video. It wasn't supposed to be like that. That's terrible. But let me know what you think about YouTube. Do you guys even know what I'm talking about? Do you see what I'm talking about? Let me know down below. And let me know, do you guys watch a lot of YouTube or cable? What? Usually I just watch the shorts, like the animal stuff and everything, which I need to start doing shorts is what I really need to start doing. All right, I'm getting off of here. Stay beautiful, stay blessed, stay healthy, and most importantly, always stay you. Never let somebody take you out of character. Do as I say, not as I do, apparently. Bye, guys.